Welcome back to the next lesson in this course. We're going to be learning some basics to get us coding. So, apart from this little bit here, this is where we left off from last lesson, which is the basic setup that you'll always start with this code before you start developing your web pages. So this is a very good place to start. So for putting information on the screen, whether it's a sentence, a word, or a paragraph of text, we use the paragraph tag. So let's start off very simple and traditional. If I can spell it right. So we'll start off with the traditional hello world. So what we're doing here, we're using the paragraph element, and what the paragraph element will do is display your content on the screen. So if we go ahead and either control save or file and save, if we look on the output, we can see hello world is displayed. So great. Whatever we put in a paragraph will be displayed on the screen somewhere in our browser. So let's add a bit more text than just a simple hello world. I'm going to delete the hello world, and I'm just going to copy and paste a paragraph in there. So I'll put a sentence in here. It's not really relevant what's in the paragraph, it's just information. Now I've got word wrap on, so that instead of carrying across the screen here, it will come down. But if I open up this, it's obviously all on the same line, but the editor is just helping me see it all on the screen while I've got the screen cut down. So if we look into the browser after we've saved that and refreshed it, it's put that paragraph, but it's obviously putting it straight across the screen, and then as soon as it's filled the visual display up, it will then place the rest on the next line. So there's a basic paragraph of text. So what I want to just show you is I'm going to copy and paste that. So I've now got two paragraphs. So if I save that, it puts the paragraph on the screen again. But one thing you'll notice that there is a space between the two paragraphs, and these are default settings with the P paragraph. As with all the tag elements, they've got predefined settings which can all be changed, especially in the CSS when we get to that stage in another course. But for now, just remember that some of these tag elements have predefined settings, and obviously the browser you're using may differ a bit, but in this one it leaves a space between paragraphs. So if we were to put a third paragraph, we would expect it to leave yet another space, and obviously that is what it does. So straightforward then. Could be sentences, paragraphs, short words, but we use the P tag to display stuff simply on the screen. Now we're going to be moving on to what we call header tags. So for now I'm just going to delete all those paragraphs. So header tags are what you put your titles of your pages in, and then subtitles and so on. So the main big header title of your page, you should use a H1 tag, and you should only really use one H tag per document, and then use sub headings, as we'll come across in a minute, mainly because you've only normally got one major heading of a document anyway, but also for things like screen readers, that without confusing the screen reader too much, you should have one main title and then have ways of identifying subheadings, which is easier for the browser to communicate to the person using the screen reader. So let's just go ahead and use the header tag, and in HTML they're called H1 tags, and they go up to H6. I'm just going to put this as my heading 1. Not a brilliant title, but obviously when we put it on screen we'll understand what it's doing. And at output you can see that it's put the content of the element, which is between the opening and the closing tag. It's put it on the screen. So what you want to display in your title will always be the content. So one thing that points out the difference between this and the paragraph tag is that it's actually put this in bold writing, and it's a lot larger than a simple paragraph tag. And obviously because this is a main heading, it's got predefined settings, which again you can change in CSS at a later stage once we cover that course. But the predefined settings in your browser may differ slightly, but you'll mostly find that it will give a bold, larger font display as a default. So let's copy that first heading and let's create it 6 times, because we've got 6 different H1 tags or header tags. Some of these you'll never use. A lot of people keep header 1 and then header 2, probably header 3. Depends on your document really, but you may use them, you may not. But it's a good thing to learn and see what they do. But I've been coding for 9 years and I very rarely use the lower ones. But you never know, you might have a purpose to, but I probably don't do the right type of web pages and documents. So we've got the H1 element, and then we've created a H2 element, H3, 4, 5, and then H6 element. And then just to so our output identifies which one is which, let's just number them from heading 1 to 6. So let's go ahead and save that. So let's take a look at our output and see what each of these headings do. So obviously the H1 header is the biggest, and then as you go through from header 2 to header 3 down to header 6 being the very smallest font that's used. So you can sort of see that your headings and then your subheadings underneath would get smaller, as you would if you was creating a normal document or a book. Your headings are different sizes depending if it's a main heading, a subheading, and so on. So one useful thing in HTML is comments. And I'm just going to put this paragraph back in here. This is a paragraph. We don't need to put much in it. It's not really a purpose. But so I'll put a paragraph in there, and it says this is a paragraph. And notice you can see the size of a paragraph compared to some of the header tags. So comments are easy things to use. It's good to remember that they ignore, or they are ignored by the browser. The browser will not do anything with comment tags. It will not display them in the browser on the web page. So they are purely for documentation within your HTML code, for things like to help you remember what section you're coding on. You can put a to-do list in there. You can commentate certain code when you're trying to debug things, and so on. There are useful things, and all you need to do to set up a comment is use the less than, exclamation mark, 2 dashes, and then obviously not HTML. Obviously the editor has automatically filled in the rest of the HTML, and then you just put some content in here, which is obviously what comment you want to put. And I'm just going to put these are the heading tags. Okay, so that's basically telling me that I'll put a load of heading tags here, and then you can create another one down here, and I'm going to put this is a paragraph tag element, And that's it. So I've created 2 comments there, and when I refresh my browser, obviously it's no difference from before. So these comment tags are ignored by the browser. They don't do anything, they're purely for your documentation of your code. But let's say, as I said before for debugging, and say I want to remove this from being executed. You could delete it, but then you'll have to type it back in again, or use copy and paste or whatever. But sometimes it's just simply to put in a comment. But obviously you don't want to be commenting out too much, so sometimes. So there you go. Now what I had to do there, because I was trying to comment a certain piece of text, HTML tries to automatically do things for you in this editor, and obviously it tried to think that I was wanting to comment all this, because obviously I haven't put in the minus greater than sign, so it was thought I was trying to comment out everything to this one. So sometimes you have to like sort of then jump and put in the ending bit of the whole thing you want to comment out. So I've actually commented out that H3 element because I don't want that to run, but I want to run the rest. And when you update your web page, it's obviously done heading 1, 2, not done 3, 4, 5, 6 and a paragraph, which is exactly what we told it to do, because we told it to ignore this comment, and then when you want to put it back in, simply delete the comment, and there you go, it's back in the browser. Let's delete everything apart from that one paragraph tag. This is obviously a paragraph, but let's change this and put some kind of poem in there, which I'm just going to quickly copy and paste in that I've just made up. So I've just copied in a little poem here that I've just quickly made up. It doesn't matter what it is, it's just to show this next bit. So within the paragraph element, the content is, my mind was cloudy, I went for a walk, my mind is clear. So we save that, and on the browser we've got exactly what we put. My mind was cloudy, I went for a walk, my mind is clear. Now within paragraphs we can start to format this a bit more nicer, because when a poem is all on one line, or if you put an address in, again you don't put addresses across the page normally, you normally list each part of the address down the page. And there's one thing in HTML for when you're using paragraph tags, is to use the break element tag. So let's go ahead and use that. So after the first part of the thing, I'm going to insert an element, and these are elements within elements. So there's no need for a closing tag. So that simply is it. So this element you can place within the P element, and wherever you place it within the P element, it will force a line break. So we're hoping that this P element will display my mind was cloudy with a comma, and then because then we've got the break, we will expect it then to start a new line to then read the rest of the poem. So let's just check to see if that has worked. And yes, that is exactly what it has done. So to finish this off, we would then obviously place the next line break. You can have more than one line break in your paragraph tags. So if we place the paragraph break element there and save again, then this is looking much nicer. My mind was cloudy, I went for a walk, my mind is clear. That's just a quick simple poem I had to come up with just for this. But so you can obviously see the usefulness of these break tags. So one other thing we're going to learn now, say you've got a second poem. So I'm just going to quickly create another quick poem which I'll just copy and paste. So I've just copied in another poem, just one I've just made up, it doesn't matter what you put, but I've basically put dark clouds, thunder and lightning, lots of rain. So on the browser I've used 2 paragraphs, which you can see the first one, then we've got that space which is by default puts it in for us between paragraphs, and then we've got the second short poem. Now whether this you created an ingredients list and then say cooking instructions or anything that makes you want to think, want to divide the page up, and you want a clear indication that, you know, I want to put a line break in to make the top and the bottom sections completely different, and you can put as many of these in your documents you like, but to clearly indicate to the user that, you know, this is a break and the new bit of information is underneath. We use something called the HR element. Now again, with the HR element as the BR element, HR tags are self-closing. They don't have any content, it's just simply HR opening tag. So because you've got no content, you don't need to put the closing tag. So that is it, that's created. Basically this is the horizontal rule tag, or the HR tag. So if we save that, so in the browser you can see that this browser, other browsers might do this differently, but in this browser mostly you'll see a line straight across the whole view page of the browser. Leave it there for this week. Have a little go at creating, just to get used to using the stuff we've learnt already. To do that is usable. Don't forget you've also got the header tags which we've learned. Use the comments as well to lay your code out and leave sections of your code with comments so you can follow what, and others can follow what you've done. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If I could ask a favour to help support this new channel, that you hit that subscribe button and then select all on the bell for future videos that are coming out, and then I'd appreciate if you also hit the like button. This will help the channel grow, and then I shall carry on doing videos as I know they're being watched and appreciated. And then can you also check out the website that I'm just briefly going to show you. So this is the website that I've created to help with this course. You obviously see it's BF Creations. I haven't completely finished this website yet, so there's no login or join at the moment, but this is the first course I've created, which is HTML5. And if you scroll down a bit, you'll see future videos coming up and courses that are starting and what's available at the moment. But down in the download section, you'll see that there are some download sheets, and simply for each one you just click on the download and it will appear up in the corner and it will download to your PC or laptop or whatever you're using. So I hope these are helpful. Leave comments in the videos as well so I can make improvements. Tell me what you think. Hope it's all been easy to follow and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching this video, and I shall see you in the next one. On this course, they are released every Tuesday evening, so hopefully you'll follow along, and clicking that bell will help get notifications of that. So thank you very much, and thank you for watching.